leader's journey to inclusion, as mentioned earlier. Here to talk about it, we have Jolanta Gantkowska, Director of People Operations at AMS, and Michalina, Konkel, Director of Diversity, Equity and Inclusion, Organizational Development at Diversity Hub. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Welcome again.
I'm glad to be able to hear you both, first things first, so to say. It's a bit like a get-together for you. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's almost like a get-together for you. You've known each other for quite some time now. Jola, I believe you were one of the first, if not the first, pardon the term, corporate speaker at a Diversity Hub conference back in 2015. Is it correct?
Was it already in 2015? That might be that,
yeah,
but I definitely.
Tell me.
Yeah.
And in your case, Michalina, your area of expertise is leadership. That's what you're most interested in. And you used to work together with Jola, I suppose, some time back, right?
Yeah, that was actually my first professional experience in a corporate world.
Wonderful. This should make it really smooth and easy for you. Let me start with the fundamental question we are here to answer. Why should it be a journey? Why can't it be a swift little arrival instead?
Gosh, I'm happy to start. I mean, yeah, I'm happy to start. I think, you know, and it's going to sound philosophical, but I'm sure it will resonate with everyone. We as a person, as a human being, we are on a journey. So I guess, you know, whenever you arrive at the stage that you become a leader, you develop and grow as a person. So it's impossible, in my view, to be, you know, at one stage of your leadership and not grow and not be on a journey as a leader if you are on the one as a person, as an individual. As simple as that.
Michalina, would you like to comment?
Yeah, I mean, so I will just continue the thought that as a leader, you change. Yeah, you're not the same person as you were when you started being a leader, and what you perceive as natural and something what is expected from you, and actually how you should treat others, also changes. Like the things which you allow yourself for are different in a time. So it's really crucial just to reflect on yourself. And I'm just smiling because, you know, this self-reflection is a repetitive motive through all our speeches today.
Say, if we were to look at the leadership role itself and how it relates to inclusion, is this something we really need to talk about in 2021, almost 2022? Or is this something that we can slowly start taking for granted, that leaders need to be inclusive?
I would start with a question like, you know, how many leaders pretend that they are stronger than they feel they are, or they diminish their abilities just not to scare others. And if leaders pretend, actually, how employees wouldn't. So in my opinion, as long as leaders will not embrace fully who they are, they will not be able to create inclusive environment for others, to allow them to be themselves.
Jola, would you like to comment?
Yes, I would like to comment, because I think, you know, that there is something that you said there, you know, about this year or next year. Actually, I do believe, I mean, I mean, I've been a leader for quite a few years now, and I've worked with leaders, and it's new. I mean, we start talking about it right now as if it was a new phenomena, but I can't imagine, you know, leading and working with teams, you know, in Poland globally, without having, I mean, you know, without being inclusive, without understanding myself and what drives me, but also through that having an appreciation of what drives my team. So, in a way, what I'm saying is, it's something that you know, has existed, it has been in place for years. Without that, you can't be a successful leader. I think it's great that we're talking about it, but I think that's something that we just need to make sure that we nurture as we grow new leaders, as we look at ourselves as leaders and constantly, adjust to a different teams and different roles that we are embarking on. So I think, that's for me something that's really important to be mindful, without being inclusive, without understanding what triggers you, but also what triggers your teams and what's important for them outside of at work and outside of work. In my view, you can't be a successful leader, and that's why the journey is important, because these things change as we go along.
If we were to translate it into more actionable language, in other words, go down from the philosophical level more to the actionable language, you yourselves have decided to use the journey metaphor. Just like with every journey, you do some preparations before you start on a journey so that you're well equipped for the journey, so to say. Mm-hmm. So how do you prepare for this particular journey? What's your goal, really? Because it sounds, we're talking about it in pretty abstract terms, and we really want to get down to the preparation process. What should you be alert to? Just like you go to the mountains in winter, you know exactly how to prepare for a journey like that. If you don't, the lessons will be very painful. Likewise, if inclusion is a journey, and mind you, at this conference we have touched on the word bias so many times that I can't overstate the importance of bias. And people often think that bias is merely opinion or habit. They underestimate the fact that it's a cognitive process. And even if you go to Wikipedia and take a look at the list of cognitive biases, you will see how important and how complex this process is. Back to my question, journey preparation. What do we do first?
Well, I'm happy to. I mean, if you want, I mean, if you're talking absolutely about the preparation, I don't know if you can actually prepare for anything. I think it's a constant awareness of the fact that as a leader, you are part of the group, whether it's a small or big group, whether it's in your own culture or global. And I think from my perspective, if we're talking about the preparation and the way or the way that I embrace it, for me, it's first of all understanding or being aware that me as a human being have different needs, different values that drive me at work. And I constantly self-reflect. And I think Michalina said that, that self-reflection seems to be also a theme. So on every single step of my journey, I had, even now, I'm very different to who I was 5 years ago, because so many things happened to me in my personal and professional life. So that way, when I understand myself, when I understand my own, what's driving me in terms of my values, and I'm true to that way I can reflect it on whoever I work with as a leader. And I think it is really important, because if we don't understand what is driving us, we pretend, I call it, we put a work coat on, and we go in and we just pretend that we are we're trying to be that best leader, and achiever, and and all of these things. But actually, putting that coat on means that we are pretending, if we don't understand what are our true core values, drivers for why we do that, why we decided to embark on that journey. And through that, again, if we understand that we are very authentic, we understand why we're there, and through that we can understand, that other team members, our teams are really, and people that we work with, have come with this similar, or we can help them to come with this similar authenticity. And I think that's really important to make sure that we understand ourselves, and through that we can mirror that with our teams and people that we work with.
And when we talk about our understanding ourselves, it's often the question of certain habits and things we are used to. So are we really, when we refer to a journey, are we really talking about tackling our own ego as it evolves, and we treat all of our lives, experiences, professional and private, as catalysts basically catalysts that create opportunities to crack this ego from time to time so that anything can penetrate our ego. Is that the way to look at it, or would you define it differently?
I would say that this is one of the ways you can look at it, but it seems more, as you said, more philosophical and less tangible. I would say that you can also focus on here and now. And what happens here and now, these are emotions. Emotional intelligence has been also brought to the space already here. So what I mean is that observing our emotional reactions for others can be a preparation for this journey. So if you meet someone who annoys you, who makes you angry, or you just have this strong feelings towards them, it can be a sign actually that this person can be the best teacher for you. Maybe they allow themselves for some behaviors which you don't allow yourself to present. So I would say that observation of your emotional reactions will be something what can guide you through this journey.
We have very little time left and no question from our audience on this journey aspect to inclusion. Any closing remarks you would like to leave our audience with, talking about the journey aspect to inclusion?
Michalina, you can go first.
Okay, I can go. So to make it more imaginable for you, so imagine a leader who doesn't allow themselves for being clumsy. Like being clumsy, it's like a deadly no for this person. So will this person have enough space for employees to make mistakes? Will they create the same opportunities for learning for everyone? So you have so much space for others if you have for yourself. So embark for this journey and discover yourself.
Thank you, Michalina.
For me, the key driver for inclusive leadership is really being authentic and true to yourself. So we like to be seen as great leaders and those who achieve a lot, but I also think that it's really good to make sure that we also see how we can grow as leaders and make sure that we allow for vulnerability, for showing the team that we are one of them. So I think for me that authenticity drives inclusion, because that way we see others through the lens of our own authenticity and being true to our values, and also being true to what is it really that we want from that leadership for ourselves, for our own satisfaction and the journey that we embarked on and that responsibility that we took on. So authenticity is key to inclusive leadership, in my view.
We still have a minute and a question.
So may I? I thought I have one more question to Jola, may I? Because I know, Jola, that you, during your journey, you also participated in some programs which helped you to discover this. And there is this discussion if trainings helps this, raising self-reflection, or it doesn't. So how would you assess such programs?
I think there is difference in trainings and self-development, and I think what I enjoyed and what really transformed me the most is those that were focused on self-reflection, self-development, putting the mirror and understanding what are my strengths. But to your point, your example earlier, what is it that actually the life brings my way to learn from it? So your example of someone annoying you, for example, so my kind of shadows, right? So I think this is what I've enjoyed the most, and I would really, really highly recommend to look at these. Training-wise, I think what I mean by training is the technical skills, and obviously they are very important. But I think experience really gives you that that good leverage for growth as a leader. So definitely, I would look, and I'm still looking for something that is enriching me as a person. Because through that, if I understand myself better and I accept the way that I am, I can be also more mindful of those around me and those who I lead.
And last but not least, what about those leaders who actually don't want to take this D&I journey for whatever reason? Surely reasons matter and they need to be explored, but what about those leaders?
Very good question.
Yeah, it depends, from the perspective, from organizational perspective. This is a question: if these leaders are culture add, do they add a new value to the organization? If so, let's create something together. And I believe it often happens when they are not ready to discover themselves all this potential which is in them. So they need also more safety for their power to be released.
Jola, would you like to comment on that as a closing remark?
Yeah, I do truly believe that those leaders who, for whatever reason, decide not to embark on that D&I journey, they will realize that this is the key to success, because the true leader cannot achieve, what they are to achieve, both personally and from professional perspective without their teams. And in order to do that, they need to understand and appreciate the diversity within the teams. Otherwise, there is no space for success. So I do believe that this is this is quite exciting because they are ahead of this journey, and I do believe that at some point they will embark on that.
So to paraphrase the title of our conversation, there is no leader's journey to success without covering the road to inclusion. Jolanta Gantkowska, Director of People Operations, AMS, Michalina Konkel, Director of Diversity, Equity and Inclusion, Organizational Development, Diversity Hub. Thank you so much. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a good journey.